So picture this. You've just got off work, you get home, you're tired, you want to relax, maybe play some games, but you still need to make dinner and maybe need to help your kids with their homework. You definitely need to do that pile of laundry that's been staring at you from the corner of the room for way too long now, and you cannot put it off any longer. So you don't have an hour to spend playing Call of Duty with the boys. You definitely don't have time to get into something like Crimson Desert, but what you do have is 10 minutes while dinner's cooking and laundry is drying. So what do you do? That is where the games we are talking about today will come in handy. The Steam Deck is the embodiment of pick up and play. So having games that you can drop into and, more importantly, jump out of at a moment's notice is invaluable. So here are 10 games that respect your time, they don't require setting the scene beforehand, and they can fill in all the little moments in your day, no matter how chaotic it is. Alright, first up is Lonely Mountains Snow Riders. This one was my Steam Deck casual game of choice for about a whole month. I don't know if you guys do this, but this one was just actually up and running on my Steam Deck for like a week straight. I'd play through a run down the mountain, pause the game, put it to sleep, do that a few times a day, rinse and repeat. The next thing you know, you realize you haven't seen the SteamOS home screen in a while. The graphics on this game are just a ton of fun. The third-person camera angle makes it feel like you're controlling a character on a miniature toy skiing game, which it's a very cool look and it's very satisfying to play with. There are plenty of mountains and different runs to keep things fresh. The physics in the game are extremely satisfying, and the funnest part of this game is the time trial aspect of it, where you are constantly trying to find shortcuts and faster ways down the mountain so you can beat your ghost, as well as compete with other players and get a higher rank. This checkpoint I'm on specifically is a really good example of how motivating the time trial feature is. This is one where I spent quite a while trying to figure out the best way down to the next checkpoint. And I think this is it. It still takes me a while to actually land it, but when it does land, it's extremely satisfying, and it's a lot of fun to try to find ways off of the beaten path to get down the mountain the fastest. There's also a kind of a prequel to that one called Lonely Mountains Downhill, where you are riding a bike. Obviously, same developers and same vibe. Very cool graphics, similar graphics, and this one's a lot of fun too. For me, the gameplay in the Snow Riders is a little bit more fun. I like the achievements and how they're structured and everything in that one a little bit better, but this one is still a ton of fun. And needless to say, these games are, or can be, very difficult. You're probably going to crash a lot. Definitely pick these up though. These are on my Steam Deck, installed all the time. Very easy to just pick up and get right into the action. I can say with almost 100% confidence, I'm probably never going to delete these games from my Steam Deck. They're just that fun and easy to play. Next is another really fun platformer called BZZZT. I've actually never heard the title spoken out loud, so if that is not how you pronounce it, it's gonna be really silly, but oh well, here we are. It's very fast paced. You do need a lot of precision for it. You play as this tiny robot making your way through levels full of hazards, jumps, enemies, and it just really fits the instant responsiveness vibe that you want with a game like this. And it just makes you want to continue retrying even when you mess up, since it is such a fast and satisfying game loop. You can definitely make progress on this even within just a few minutes. And if you're feeling up for it, then the achievement system is actually really great. You can go back through the levels after the fact and make sure you get all the collectibles. There's also a timed aspect to all the levels that if you complete both of those achievements, then you get a flawless run badge. So there's a lot of replayability here, and I find myself going back over through the levels and trying to get these flawless runs. And it is just a super fun and a different game than what I was expecting. I think the whole platformer genre in general lends itself very well to casual gameplay and being able to kind of maximize the amount of fun you can fit into even just 5 to 10 minutes of gameplay. So yeah, you'll definitely see a few more platformers on this list. By the way, if you are new to this channel, that's great. I'm also pretty new around here. And it's a well-known rite of passage that anyone who wants to make videos on the Steam Deck needs to make a games list video in order to be accepted by the community and prevent exile. So please consider this my official entry, and you can accept my offering by subscribing if you want. It's totally up to you. The choice is yours. You have complete freedom of will. I won't tell you what. We're going to skip the other parts of the initiation ritual since they are not fun for any of us. And let's get back to the games. Backpack Hero. This game takes something as simple and oftentimes boring as inventory management and turns it into an entire game. And it actually works so well. It's a roguelike where positioning your items inside your backpack is just as important as the items themselves. So every run becomes like this kind of Tetris-like puzzle of trying to optimize your layout while also making sure you have enough of the right items to win your battles. I would say that this is another game that did kind of catch me by surprise, and I didn't think I would like it as much as I do now, mostly because I've tried the deck builder games before and I haven't been a huge fan of them, but this one feels a lot more approachable, and just overall the concept clicks a lot more with me, where managing inventory and managing your energy levels and different abilities and everything, it just makes so much sense in this format. So even though I would say it does have the same deck builder vibes as something like Slay the Spire, it has kind of that added extra space management side of it. It has a story, it has a town building aspect to it as well. So this one, again, just feels more approachable overall. Now let's talk a little bit about Hotline Miami. The other games on this list have all been kind of cozy and chill games. This is not a cozy or chill game. It is casual because it's easy to drop into. The action is immediate, and that describes Hotline Miami to an absolute T. It has an extremely fast gameplay loop with brutal one-hit eliminations, but it's just as quick to get back into the action. There is a storyline, but to me it feels more like it's just there to be able to string together all the awesome action levels rather than it being the main focus, which I'm actually totally fine with it in this case. At first, the controls can be a little strange on the Steam Deck and it takes a little bit of time to get used to, but I actually really liked it and ended up preferring the control style after getting used to it. This is a game that demands a certain precision, and you definitely should not expect to beat any of these levels on the first try. There is less than a couple seconds of wait between when you die and when you're actually starting the level again, so it kind of makes this a perfect game to fill in a few minutes here and there. What I do like about this game too is that there is a sort of slight luck element to this, where even if you play through a round the exact same way, sometimes based on enemy positioning, or just how long it takes them to actually spot you and timing and other things, it definitely keeps it fresh even when you're doing this kind of infinite gameplay loop, trying to beat the same level, doing the same things over and over again until, one time something will click. Now, this next one is actually a cozy and chill game that kind of took me by surprise. You've probably heard of this one since it was all over the Steam store front a little while ago, but this one is Cairn. At the surface, it is a rock climbing game, which might not sound that exciting, but the execution of the mechanics is pretty impressive. This one was surprising to me because I don't really know the first thing about rock climbing, and if you would have asked me to imagine how a game about rock climbing would actually work gameplay-wise, I'd have absolutely no idea what to tell you. But this game manages to execute so well on this, and what's crazy is that the mechanics are actually pretty similar to how those rage bait games work, where you awkwardly control your limbs in the most frustrating way possible. But this game is oddly calming and forgiving. It gives you complete freedom to choose where to scale up the mountain and find your own path, with a lot of other fun kind of story elements thrown into the mix. And it actually runs pretty well on the Steam Deck. Considering it's a newer title, it runs better than I would have expected it to. Sometimes you'll see some slowdowns and whatnot, but overall, I have been getting a very stable FPS, and it is definitely one that you should pick up for the Steam Deck. Speaking of scaling mountains, if you've watched my other videos, then you already know I love the game Celeste. This is a beautiful game, both in story and graphics, and it is one of the ultimate casual platformers in my opinion. It's intentionally set up in a way where you can pass through a section of the level in as little as a minute, and then take a break or keep going. But trust me, you're probably gonna keep going. The story follows Madeline, who has a mission to scale up Mount Celeste. Along the way, she is not only fighting the elements and difficult terrain, but her own fears and anxieties, which are represented in such incredible ways through the gameplay. Even though this is a game where you will die a lot, it's extremely forgiving still, and it doesn't feel like it's punishing you. There are completely optional challenges along the way, so you can kind of choose the difficulty you want to play at, whether you're in the mood for a sweaty session with hundreds of deaths before you get one of the strawberries, or if you want a more laid-back session where you take your time solving the puzzle for whatever level you're on. Every stage feels completely fresh and unique, and the pacing feels perfect, giving you incremental upgrades as you progress in a way that does not feel overwhelming. This is one that will have you hooked, and if you're not a fan of platformer games, I think this is the one that will turn you. Dome Keeper is a very easy game to recommend for this kind of video. We already know how popular the mining genre of games is. I guess pixelated mining does something to our brains that keeps us hopelessly addicted, and this game can definitely have that effect and keep you playing it for a while. It's sort of a tower defense game where you have your dome on the surface of the planet. You are tasked with digging deeper and wider to collect resources, upgrade your dome to handle larger waves of enemies, and uncover hidden artifacts, which are your ticket out of this place. There are multiple game modes, different dome types, variety of characters that each have their own unique abilities, and it's cheap enough where there's really no excuse to not have this in your library and keep it on your Steam Deck at all times. Just be aware that if you haven't played this before, you will most likely be addicted to it for a little while. I definitely went through that phase where this was all I played until I finally snapped out of it. But I don't regret it, and I think this is a game that everyone needs to experience at least once. A game about digging a hole is exactly that. At least you can't accuse the devs of using a clickbait title though. This one is a bit of a meme, but it's still fun and it's a great way to kill some spare time. I'll be honest, the actual gameplay for this one is very short. There are achievements you can go for that give it a little extra playtime, but this is one that you could clear in an afternoon. So it's not great for replayability, but it is great for mindlessly digging in a backyard, upgrading your equipment, and uncovering the secrets that lie below your property. Again, there is something about these digging/mining games that human brains just cannot escape from. The dopamine hit from upgrading your pickaxe and being able to dig just a little bit faster, the anticipation of maybe finding some valuable new ore you haven't uncovered yet, this game hits all those points. When I want to just turn my brain off for a little bit, this is what I will reach for. Viewfinder is such a fun and unique game that is all about perspective. Positioning your camera in just the right way, moving the photographs so the result ends up exactly what you need to solve the puzzle. It's just a really great and creative idea with great execution. It's not a game where you need to play for hours before things click like other puzzle games. The fact that your perspective adjusts the world around you makes you immediately understand how cool this concept is. Now, I'm actually just going to stop talking about it now and give you like 15 or 20 seconds of uninterrupted gameplay video so you can just watch me play through this puzzle, since I think that will do more to help you understand this game than anything I could say here. And we're back. Pretty cool, right? So anyways, head to Steam, pick it up. You will not regret it. Katana Zero is a game from the same publishers as Hotline Miami, and I found that if you like one game from a publisher, you likely will find at least a few more in their catalog that you'll also enjoy. This is a recent pickup for me, and I actually found out about it from another video by Eddie here on YouTube, so shout out to him. Definitely go check out his channel for Steam Deck content. But this is one that is 100% up my alley, and I'm surprised I hadn't seen it before. It is an intense single-hit elimination game, and it's built around the fast gameplay loop of die and very quickly start again. And Katana Zero makes that loop an integral part of the story, with each stage being almost like a sort of premonition-based experience that is lived by the character, where each unsuccessful run is discarded and only the final successful attempt is actually executed on. Combat is fun, it's satisfying, it can be difficult at times, but that's just part of the fun. There are a couple other honorable mentions that I really love, but but for one reason or another, I didn't include them on this list. Actually, you know what? They technically are part of the list, I guess, since I already recorded the gameplay for them, so enjoy these as bonus ones. The first game is Thronefall. This is one that is a mashup of tower defense and roguelike genres where you take control and you're kind of the boots on the ground fighting with your kingdom alongside your units. It's a very fun game, very fun concept, and definitely one you can pick up and play at any time. So I would highly recommend checking that one out. The other one that I also want to call out is Art of Rally. This one is also kind of a newer one that I've got, but I've really enjoyed it so far. I think the only reason I didn't include it here is because it is difficult. And I think it's one of those games where it does take a little while to kind of get used to the gameplay, get used to the controls, understand how the drifting and everything actually works during racing. As you can see, I am not very good at this. So for that reason, I didn't include it, but definitely check it out. It's a fun game if you don't mind suffering through the difficult controls for a little while. So let me know in the comments which one of these you are going to try out, or if you already have them and have played through some of them, let me know what your experience has been like on the Steam Deck. All of these are light enough that I don't have any hesitation in just saying that these can all just be installed and kept indefinitely on your Steam Deck for the times that you don't really know what to play but you only have a few minutes. Also, if you are coming from my videos on the AYN Thor, you will be happy to know that most of these games also run great on the Thor. So that's just another little bonus for you. If you liked the video, please consider liking and subscribing so I can continue making more handheld content like this. And as always, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching.